Ricky Rocket stood in the middle of the supermarket, staring. He looked as if he had found the Holy Grail. "Look, Mum, Lord Vogue Crunchy Bars." "Lord Vogue's a crunchy munch," sang Ricky's little sister Sue. Ricky grabbed Sue in a Martian headlock. No one made fun of Lord Vogue. He was Ricky's favourite TV character. Sue let out the kind of ear-splitting, blood-curdling, brain-jamming screams that little Earth girls are famous for all over the universe. "Ricky, let her go!" Mum read the back of the packet. "Oh, these Lord Vogue bars are full of horrible chemicals. Heaven knows what they'll do to you." "Well, they might make me grow up to be strong and brave like Lord Vogue." "I don't want you growing up like him," Mum said. "We'll make some proper biscuits at home." Shortbread Astronauts were Granny Earth's best recipe. Ricky and Sue mixed and rolled flour, butter and sugar and cut out astronaut shapes. "Mine looks like Lord Vogue," said Ricky. "Lord Vogue's a silly biscuit," Sue chanted. The kitchen filled with a wonderful smell of baking, and when the oven went bing, Mum took out the golden biscuits and put them aside to cool. Then the doorbell rang. A green alien stood on the doorstep with 5 children. "Hello," she twinkled. "I'm Mrs. Tweetle, your new neighbour." Mum was flustered. Mrs. Tweetle's husband was Dad's new boss. Mum put on the posh voice that she used when talking to aliens. "Oh, it would be an honour if you would enter our humble home and partake of some refreshment. A cup of tea, perhaps?" "Oh, tea would be lovely," Mrs. Tweetle smiled. "Everyone in the universe loves Earth tea." "Do you have milk in your tea?" Mum asked. "Oh, yes, please, but no sucrose." Mrs. Tweetle's eyes bobbled about. Tweetles are hyper-allergic to sucrose. And then she whispered so that Ricky couldn't quite hear. "You know, it makes us go a bit silly. It's a bit like being drunk." The Tweetles were very shy. They stared at Ricky and Sue, who stared back at them. Do you want to see my rocket?" Ricky said at last. The Tweetles followed him into the yard like obedient puppies. "You see these Lord Vogue laser holes?" Ricky asked, pointing out the stickers on the hull of his rocket. You get them free with Lord Vogue flakes." The Tweetles smiled politely. "Do you fancy a ride?" Ricky asked. The Tweetles huddled together and shook their heads. "Do you want to go on my gravity slide?" Sue climbed to the top and whizzed down the other side. One of the Tweetles followed her. It sat at the top of the slope, but it didn't move. Ricky was surprised. "You don't weigh much, do you?" He turned up the slide's gravity control. The gravity motor whirred. The Tweetles shot down the slide and scooted across the yard and crashed into a prickly bush. "Squawk!" The other Tweetles' eyes bobbled about. Sorry," said Ricky, smirking. "I must have turned the gravity up to full power by mistake." Ricky couldn't think of anything else to do with the strange, silent creatures. "Let's have our own tea party," Sue suggested, leading everyone into the kitchen. "Here you are," she said, pouring water from her toy teapot into plastic cups and saucers. "A nice cup of tea." Her eyes landed on the Shortbread Astronauts on the baking tray. "Pass them round," she ordered. "Would you partake of a shortbread astronaut?" she asked, copying Mum's posh alien voice. "Earthlings find them delicious." "I like to bite their heads off first," said Ricky. The Tweetles opened their mouths, threw the biscuits in, swallowed them whole, and burped. Burp! "Pardon!" It was the first word that they had spoken. The smallest Tweetle was the first to go a little bit funny. His eyes kind of glazed over and he started giggling. And soon all the others joined in, kicking their legs in the air. Laughing landy lizards, Ricky exclaimed. They are floating. The 5 Tweetles shrieked with laughter. They joined hands above the cooker and swirled about like a merry-go-round. It's all your fault, said Sue. Go and do something. But I didn't do anything. Ricky knew he was going to get the blame anyway. The biggest Tweetle wafted out of the door and into the yard. Come back, Ricky yelled. But it was too late. The door of his rocket was hissing shut. The Tweetle stuck out a purple tongue and waved. The engine throbbed. Ricky shouted and banged on the door. You don't know how to fly it! The Tweetle disappeared from the window. The rocket lifted and hovered for a moment, and then it tipped over on its side with a horrible, grunching clang. Ricky sprang the escape hatch, and inside the Tweetle was curled up, fast asleep. Sue called from an upstairs window. Ricky, come quick, they're going crazy. In the bathroom, a middle-sized Tweetle was squirting toothpaste and puffs of shaving foam into the air and catching them in his mouth. Another was lapping water out of the toilet bowl. It licked its lips, hiccuped, and smiled. The other 2 Tweetles were dancing up and down in front of a mirror, smearing Mum's lipstick on their faces and singing in strange bird-like tones. A voice boomed from downstairs. What is going on? Dad had come home and Mr. Tweetle was with him. Dad stormed up the stairs. Someone has been giving those Tweetles some sucrose, he said. Not us, Ricky protested. All we gave them was Shortbread Astronauts. And what is in the Shortbread Astronauts? Dad asked. Flour? Yes, said Dad. Butter? Yes, said Dad. Sugar? Dad exploded. Sugar! Sugar is sucrose! Mum came to the rescue. Well, we use Granny Earth's recipe book. It says to use sugar. Ricky wasn't to know that sugar and sucrose are the same thing. Oh, never mind, said Mrs. Tweetle. They'll be all right, but they're going to have terrible headaches tomorrow. The only biscuits that we have in our house are lovely Lord Vogue crunchy bars. At least you know what's in them. By now, all the little Tweetles were fast asleep and floating a metre off the ground. Mr. Tweetle had to tie some string round their legs and walk them home like a bunch of balloons. Dad helped Ricky put his rocket back on its landing pads. Now make sure you don't give the Tweetles anything with sugar in it next time you see them. Mum came out into the yard. Is everything okay with Mr. Tweetle now? Yes, thank goodness, said Dad. In fact, he's invited us over for tea on Sunday. Hooray! Ricky whooped. The only biscuits they have in their house are lovely Lord Vogue crunchy bars. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as I enjoyed myself making it. And if you want to know more about Ricky Rocket, click here to find out about the book 3 Stories in 1, Ricky Rocks the Planet. Click up here and make sure you are subscribed to the Storytime channel and keep coming back for lots more stories by me. And if you want another story right now, click here and go and watch Super Dad. In the meantime, you take care and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.